here and from Jordan, we, from this platform, in this forum in Jordan, we hosted more than 570 participants this year from more than 40 countries. So welcome to you all. You're most welcomed in Amman. In addition to more than 2,600 participants in the virtual world. I call you to welcome the virtual world in particular. And so now we will announce that in the 15th forum of ARIJ, Independent Media, the participants were 3,170 participants from more than 50 countries. What's seen on this map is that this is the hashtag results from ARIJ 22, which have exceeded more than 2,500 tweets, which meant that it reached 2,000 reached and more than 10 million tweets. Thanks to all who tweeted to us and who have reached, took our voice over the world. I would like to thank all donors who are with us and partners who were with us in here in this hall. Without their support, we wouldn't have met here and in this virtual world. I would like also to thank all trainers of November trainings and facilitators for all the virtual sessions that preceded the forum, which paved the way for this forum to take place. They've all exerted efforts in order to provide the training before this forum in the virtual world. And I would like to thank the 75 speakers who volunteered to be with us in this forum during the past 3 days. Last year, we have wished that a distinguished ARIJian would be among us. He's our friend and colleague, Muhammad Abul Ghait. Unfortunately, and on social media yesterday and today, there's news from his family that his health is deteriorating. We say, oh God, please help him. ARIJ and all of us wish him a speedy recovery. His investigations throughout his career life and his writings about his struggle with this illness on social media platforms have touched us and have given us life's lessons. We pray for him. I will not remain silent has become a slogan in ARIJ, and this would never have been completed without the support of the German embassy here in Amman. We are pleased to invite His Excellency to this platform, Ambassador of Germany, Bernhard Kampen, to the podium.
You know, it is really a great honor and a privilege to look into so many happy faces. I think all of us, we have to thank Halim Ensemble for this inspiring start of this evening. Thank you very much for having me. Dear journalists, fact-checkers, media professionals, partners and guests, ladies and gentlemen of the board of ARIJ, you have finished 3 full days of workshops, discussions and networking. And I would first like to acknowledge Ms. Rawan Damen and the whole team of ARIJ for having organized such a fantastic conference. The topic of this year's ARIJ Forum, Defending Independent Media, is sadly more relevant than ever. Threats against freedom of expression and freedom of the media are on the rise worldwide, including in my country and in the Arab world. Threats to the truth. Journalists are being targeted and in some cases pay a high price, even with their life, for sharing their stories with the world, such as Palestinian journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. I would like to join the speakers from the opening session of the conference and express my sincere condolences to her family, friends, and you all colleagues. Media freedoms and access to information are essential to the building and construction of democratic will and prosperous societies. Independent media provide information, analysis, and a platform for critical debate. They hold governments accountable and form a loud and strong bulwark to protect human rights when and where necessary. That is why promotion of free, independent, and diverse media is an essential component of Germany's human rights and cultural policy. We are proud, and thank you for your words, to be a partner with ARIJ under the I Will Not Stay Silent project to combat violence, harassment, and discrimination of female journalists online and offline, and make sure that women's voices are heard and amplified. Over the course of the last 3 days, you have exchanged on how to address the challenges faced by independent journalists, be they related to shrinking media space, countering misinformation and disinformation, digital safety and security, or financial sustainability. But tonight we are also here to celebrate your successes as Arab investigative journalists. In response to the killing of Shireen Abu Akleh, the words of my foreign minister were, "Democracy depends on the work of courageous journalists." So let me thank you all. Courage is what all of you demonstrate in your profession, and it is a great honor to have been invited to this award ceremony to acknowledge your outstanding work. I wish you safety and health and the courage you have shown in the past for your work lying ahead of you. Thank you very much.
لمدة عام عملنا في الشبكة العربية لمدققي المعلومات AFCN من
to support the fact checkers in all means possible. We are proud to announce today a set of tools and guides to enhance checking in the Arab world and in the Arabic language. First, within the Free and Be Free project in partnership with the Meta Journalism Project, we launched the first interactive electronic course on pre- and post-publication information checking in Arabic. It is open to all, and it summarized in a couple of hours the ethics of journalism, information turmoil, methodology, tools, and it's all available in the ARIJ Academy. Second, within the صح or correct صح project as part of the ARIJ program implemented by the French Agency for Media Development CFI, funded by the French Development Agency AFD, we launched first the information checking guide. It contains the ARIJ methodology. We hope for this guide to serve as an essential reference for all media and the media colleges and media schools. It's available on ARIJ website. Two, a data platform for researchers and information checkers about traffic accidents in Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and Iraq to meet the challenge of lack of data in Arabic. It's the first Arabic language interactive data platform for traffic accidents in Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, and Iraq, and it's also available on ARIJ platform. In addition to that, in the beta version, only for the partner institutions in information checking and the partner media institutions. First, the network for marketplace, AFCN marketplace. It's the first connection between the information checkers in the Arab world and the media institutions who are concerned about checking the content, the media content prior to publication. To AFCN chatbot, which is the first link between information checkers in the Arab world and the public. We thank CFI AFD for their trust, and I invite Her Excellency His Excellency in Amman, Miss Alex Lecour, to the podium. Thank you.
Bonsoir à tous, chers amis journalistes. سعادة رئيسة مجلس إدارة أريج كيم غطاس، أعزائي الصحفيين والصحفيات، أعزائي نشمة ونشميات.
Dear male and female of investigative journalism, I am pleased to be with you, among you today, in this concluding 15th annual conference of the ARIJ network. It seems to me that this demonstration has provided thousands of participants from the region, which shows that the collective action of high-quality journalism was not disappointed, and I'm really happy about that. The ARIJ network, and since 2005, does an amazing job under extremely difficult circumstances for the journalists across the world. You contribute every year to local and international senior investigations. Despite the obstacles, you continue to track and follow your efforts with big determination, without giving up the quality of your work and the principles of journalism. Why all these such efforts are done? In France, we classify journalism as the fourth authority, in addition to the other executive, legislative, and judicial authorities. This only shows to what extent journalism, especially the investigative journalism, constitutes an integral part of the democratic communities. Updating the public about the facts means making them responsible for their political opinions and options, and eventually on their future. And therefore, France is really proud to support the work of ARIJ through the French International Safety and its program Karim. We support the Arab network of fact checkers. I would not reveal anything new if I say that accessing reliable information, quality reliable information, is something that we cannot really miss, and we really need it more than any time in the past. Thank you, ARIJ, for your great work, in fact, in checking the information. I would like to conclude, and by seizing the opportunity to express my admiration of the work done by Ms. Mariam Jadid, we are honored to have her among us today. It is really interesting to find yourself before the future European woman who obtained the European Commission's award. In fact, there are commonalities and similarities between the work of investigative journalists and the astronomist. To me, searching for truth and is important. I don't want to take much of your time, but I'm really eager to listen to Miss Mariam Jdeed and to know the winners of the awards of the best Arabic language investigations. I wish you a very happy night and thank you all for your efforts.
His Excellency is, yes, we are all eager. It's true when he said that we're all eager to listen to the guest of this ceremony, Dr. Leila Shadid. Mariam Shadid, and for her I'm wearing this folkloric dress. So she's coming here from France and Nice in particular. This is the second time that I meet Dr. Mariam Shadid. I met her 15 years ago. She will tell us more about this unprecedented experience. She's the first astronomist in the world who made it to the Antarctic to watch the stars over 6 months. And she was in the first team to establish the first observatory in Atacama Desert in Chile. She is the humbled Dr. Mariam Shadid. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and I hope you're enjoying this evening. I am honored and pleased to be with you today in ARIJ 15th Forum under the slogan, defending independent media, to defend that all of us defend independent media in the Arab world. Journalism plays a vital role as well as in science and knowledge. That's why I work a lot with journalism. And yes, journalism plays a very important role, as I said, and I take this opportunity to present to you, my dear journalists, in appreciation to you. This is part of the video, the documentary about my scientific lifespan in Al Jazeera TV for the Rawan. It was produced by, directed by Rawan. I salute her. And I take this opportunity to express to her that I really appreciate all her efforts. Thank you very much, Rawan. I was born in Casablanca, in Morocco. I'm a researcher in astrology in France. And to study astronomy, I do missions, scientific missions and expeditions to set universal astrologies and observatories to watch the movement of the stars in the ends of the world in difficult and human difficult circumstances. And this is just to observe the changes that take place in stars. For instance, in these missions, like the mission to the Antarctic, the South Pole, we watched the rays of stars, and this is what the telescope, James telescope, does. And through the analysis of the shadows, we're able to get the chemical components in the stars or the space bodies, and through the ultraviolet X-rays can know is this coming closer or getting farther from the planet, and this is how we study the spaces and the distances. However, the more we look farther into the universe, the more we see it's young, and the more the telescope mirror is bigger, the more that we go into the depth of the universe. And that's why we've set the biggest telescopes in the world, and in the driest desert in the world, Atacamanca in Chile. There are four big telescopes, humongous telescopes that work for once due to the interference of light, as if they act as if they're one telescope, and its mirrors sphere is one mirror. So this is how we can see a person who is walking on the moon, and another one is that, as I mentioned, is 8 meters, and each point in these we set tool to measure the shadow, so the spectrum. So we were able to discover stars that are outside the solar cycle, and we tried and contributed in the development of the development of a star theory, which is very important in order to understand how the universe works. Media platforms have contributed in the discovery of in these discoveries and in raising the awareness about it in general. So journalism plays a vital role, and because of journalism, we know where it is located and how it is done. Thank you very much, journals and journalists. But such telescopes are on the planet here, and this is how we have to watch day and night, which is formed by the day and night cycle, and this forms a shortage in data that makes the law for seeing the vibrating stars, which we call the candles of stars, and which is very important to study the universe. This is a problem, and we need to keep away or to get rid of this cycle of that the planet is going around itself. And this is why I've set a universal astronomic observatory in the mid of the South Pole. It's a very difficult area. Nobody can make it there, but this is the polar night is about 6 consecutive months. So there is no problem with the shortage of the data. At the same time, as you notice here, in this linear and light data
لأول مرة اكتشفتوا
I've discovered that there is I've discovered the rays, discovered the first detection gravity waves, which is very important to learn.
And this is what Forbes magazine stated. It's a small step for a woman and a penguin, but it's a giant step in astronomy. And this is definite. Yes, it is a big leap in astronomy, but the important thing is that it's a field completely embedded with disasters and challenges. My first expedition to Antarctica was in 2005, and it lasted under difficult and harsh weather conditions for months. It lasted for months. For example, if we attempt to reach the South Pole, we must cross the frozen ocean. And this ocean is considered one of the largest oceans of turmoil and disasters, with severe snowstorms and so on. Upon reaching the designated place, the South Pole, temperature there would easily reach to minus 85 degrees Celsius. Of course, this place is considered the driest desert in the world. And in this place, the altitude reaches about 4,000 meters, which causes hypoxia and circulatory problems. So while there, every activity we did was done very slowly. We used to walk slowly and did everything slowly. Our efforts were reduced by 30% from our normal, compared to our normal pace, as if we were on a space trip. Every day formed a challenge to survive and stay alive. It is a very, very isolated place. The very isolated place, there is no one human being living there. Another big problem used to face us there was the white clouds or fog that used to seep in. Suddenly, the thing that might last for days, weeks, or months, which would cover everything, and we wouldn't see anything in front of us. And so nobody could tell. And again, yet the sake of science and knowledge, everything could be overcome.
Issues serves the humanity and for science purposes, scientific purposes. And now I contribute into making this as a symbol for sustainable development. And this observatory is there. It competes with space telescopes and satellites because it's not polluted and it's preserved in the climate of Antarctica, just for science and knowledge, in being tolerant and in being professional. No sustainable peace without science, and no science without accountable journalism. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mariam Shadid. A good example in our world and in the world and to the world and in the Arabic world that UNESCO selected to head the international basic sciences last year. We want in ARIJ to give effort and time for the scientific environment, climate investigative journalism in 2023 this year. And for the first time, we launched the contest for the Arab universities due to our constant belief that male and female students and lecturers are part of our investigative community. ARIJ's curriculum is being taught in more than 75 universities across the Arab world. What was needed in this competition to design a media campaign on security and safety of male and female journalists in all its forms. I first would like to thank the arbitration panel consisting of Dr. Sahar Khalifa, Professor of Journalism at the Iraqi University, colleague Farah Al-Jallad, Editor at ARIJ, and Sami Ayesh, Director of Communication at ARIJ. The jury has decided to
to make a special announcement. I would like to invite Ms. Farah Jallad, if she's here. I invite Farah to the platform. She's not here. Okay, a special announcement by or notification that I received from the jury regarding the campaign presented by the Mohammed bin Rashid Media College at the Arab University in Dubai. Please, the participating students are requested to come up to the platform. Qasim Sbeh and Sabah Narj, supervised by Mr. Musa Barhoum, who has not been able to be present here with us. Qasim and Sabah. Both shared their talents yesterday in last night's ARIJ's Got Talent. So they're both talented in science and in talents. Thank you so much. Thank you. I invite Ms. Sahar Khalifa to come to the platform, and Dr. Sahar contributed in convening the ARIJ curriculum to the Iraqi media schools since many years. We are proud that she's an Arijian and she provides training to the Arijians. To announce the winner of this contest. The winning team in the universities contest for this year is the Palestine Technical University Khaduri. I invite the team, the winning team, the students, Anhar Abu Nasser, Ghaida Shahrur, and Marwa Fayyad. My colleagues Farah Jallad and Sami Ayesh to come here and take a picture with Miss Sahar and for the prize that more than 10 Arab universities applied for its award. In the 3 days of this forum, there was a group of journalists, the Arijian journalists who were touring the behind the scenes to convey audio-visual messages on the social media. I would like to thank the ARIJ newsroom for this year. I thank the colleagues from EMIT and whose responsible projects who took part in the newsroom. I would like to thank Firas Tawil and Sami Ayesh for believing in this. All the such production was via mobile. I thank the trainer Osama Deep for all the effort that he made in this production. I would like again, as in the opening, to thank a team that works in the spirit of a real professional and ethical team. I would like to thank ARIJ team individually. The team would have not been able to work as enthusiastically and comfortably if it were not for a supportive board of directors. I would like to thank on behalf of them the ARIJ board of directors. I invite the head of the ARIJ board of directors, Kim Ghattas, to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I think I have a slightly easier job than Maryam Shadid. So I will do my best to deliver for you this evening, not from the South Pole, but from right here at this lectern. Ambassadors, partners and donors, fellow members of the board, colleagues, Arijians, Rawan, it's a delight to be here. Thank you, Rawan, and your incredible team for organizing what I thought was a really outstanding conference, but also for the work that you do all year long. Thank you to all our donors, our supporters who help make this work possible and who help ARIJ grow and become even better. In 2 years, even in the middle of a pandemic, our funding has increased considerably in tandem with the number of funding partners, and we thank you for your trust and your continued support. Thank you as well to my inspiring fellow board members who all excel in their field and give their time to this important organization and who humor me and my very strict timekeeping in our board meetings, which we will have tomorrow. But thank you most of all to all of you who participated, who spoke, who traveled far to be here, and who attended this conference, journalists, fact-checkers, podcasters, trailblazers, courageous writers and producers who go out there every day on a mission to get the facts, tell the story, and in your own way, change the world. You are the reason ARIJ exists, and ARIJ supports the work you do. I saw a lot of courage on stage over the last few days, and it really warms my heart. Because it does take courage today to do this job, and you are fearless despite the intimidation, harassment, violence, lawsuits, imprisonment, and unfortunately, in some cases, death and murder, like in the case of Shireen Abu Akleh, shot in cold blood and broad daylight, and whom we honored on the first day, but also Jamal Khashoggi, murdered in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, or Daphne Caruana Galizia, assassinated in Malta in 2017 with a car bomb for investigating corruption. Unfortunately, violence against journalists is certainly not a specialty of our region. It exists everywhere, as we heard from ambassadors who spoke just before me. I don't want to scare you. Please don't take unnecessary risks. You don't need to be in danger to do a good story. But equally, be bold. Don't shy away from the difficult questions. We need and must continue to seek truth to power in this region, where the media landscape is somewhat bleak and journalism standards have regressed for many reasons. Every year, my fellow board members and Rawan and her team, we debate together the theme for next year's conference. And this year's theme imposed itself as self-evident, as a necessary rallying cry, defending independent media. Because independent media everywhere and independent journalists face immense challenges, from the Philippines to Mexico to the US and, of course, our own region. Defending independent media is an absolute necessity today, and it's important to defend it not only from governments that want to control information and shape the narrative, but also from the corporate and finance world, which seek to buy influence, but also as well from the purveyors of disinformation online and on all media platforms. Even inflation is a threat. The economic pressures are enormous today. We are seeing layoffs everywhere in the media world, and it will affect the budget of donors. At ARIJ, we defend independent media by being ARIJ and doing what we do best, training new generations of journalists and empowering them by giving them the tools, the know-how to dig into the story and tell it to the world. At the heart of our mission is sometimes an inherent tension which keeps us on our toes, that and the 22 Arab governments breathing down our neck. That tension is about what drives the organization, training versus publishing. We do both. We train you, we want to train you. We want to train every single journalist, aspiring journalist, every single aspiring investigative journalist who wants to be published. We are first and foremost about training and capacity building, and then empowering you to publish your best work in media outlets in this region and abroad. We see many cooperations also with media outlets outside of the Arab world. And that's a constant balance which we try to strike as best as we can, while always keeping our focus on quality, not quantity. The stories that will win awards later tonight are a testament to that. I'm not privy to the details, but we'll hear them soon. As are some of our big stories in cooperation with other outlets, like the investigation earlier this year with NBC in the US, The Washington Post, and ICIJ on the abuse of migrant workers on US bases, military bases in the Gulf. I've always believed that journalism is a public service. That's why I became a journalist, and I made that decision at the age of 13, growing up in Beirut during the Civil War, because I wanted to tell our story to the world. And we do what we do to shed light, to hold accountable, to get answers, and to make a difference, to have an impact. But it's hard work, day in, day out, because a big story about corruption does not always result in the sacking of corrupt officials. Relentless reporting about the war in Syria and its atrocities did not result in an end to the conflict. And there are days when I too feel dejected. But please, don't give up. Because every story makes a difference. Every reader, every viewer who can learn from your story, who can come away thinking, now I feel heard, or now I understand, or now I can see that others are fighting the same battle as me. Every single one of them is a force multiplier. They go out into the world not only better informed, but also empowered with new knowledge that can help them make a difference or inspire them to take action. I am immensely proud of the work we do at ARIJ, of the work you all do, and the sacrifices you make to tell the story and bring us the facts. So onwards and upwards, thank you all. Thank you to all who support us, and see you next year.
We come to the ARIJ Award for Arab Investigative Reporting for the 13th year in a row. This year, more than 130 Arab investigations were submitted from 23 countries. The percentage of females that applied were 30%, which needs more work to increase the percentage of female journalists to 50%. Also, and even without and the highest country in this advancement is Egypt. 27 reports came from Egypt. The second also country was Yemen. Yemen, 21 reports came from Yemen. The 10 candidates for this year are in order after we see the video, and I hope the colleagues will to stand up, and if they were in the Arab world, to speak with us for 30 seconds because they weren't fortunate to meet with you. The first candidate, according in alphabetical order.
الأرض المسمومة في سوريا، كيف أدت سنوات الصراع إلى تلويث وتدمير الأراضي السورية، للصحفيتين لجين حاج يوسف ومي سقاط.
إذا انفجارات الطائرة، طائرة الاستطلاع المسيرة التي سقطت في محيط مدينة كفر تخاريف.
كشفت
and Lujain exposed the damage inflicted by various international and local actors in Syria on the land agriculture system in Syria. Where's Lujain? Are you with us here in this hall? The second candidate.
الفخ البيلاروسي، المهاجرون العرب في لعبة الحدود الأوروبية، للصحفي محمود السبكي.
واحد قريبي عايز يجي على بيلاروسيا.
كشف محمود عن استدراج.
Mahmoud had exposed that thousands of those wishing to immigrate to Belarus were lured through organized and intensive flights and unprecedented facilities for obtaining visas. We salute Mahmoud As-Subki.
المرشح
The
الثالث.
second candidate.
بذريعة الولاية التعليمية، أطفال المطلقات يبعدون عن المدارس الخاصة في مصر، للصحفية آيات خيري.
Ayat Khairi has documented the evasion of Egyptian private schools from accepting the registration of children of divorced women in Egypt directly or indirectly, using the Egyptian personal status law as a pretext. We salute Ayat. Ayat, are you here with us? Candidate number 4.
بزنس في المستشفيات اليمنية، أول العلاج البتر، للصحفي وجدي السالمي.
Wajdi has documented that hospitals contracting with the King Salman Center for Relief and Humanitarian Action carried out unnecessary amputations of wounded Yemenis. Wajdi, we salute you. Candidate number 5.
حقيقة الجمال القبيحة، فريق من صحفيين وصحفيات بأسماء مستعارة.
زدت مثلا حوالي 30 كيلو، أنا عايزة أبقى كده، هبقى زي البنت اللي في الصورة دي بالظبط.
البنت كانت عايزة نفسها إنها تبقى رفيعة.
The investigation exposes violations of the laws governing cosmetic medicine in Egypt, threatening the lives of millions of women and leaving some of them disfigured for life. And under factuous names, I ask the team from Arab BBC, Mamdouh Akbir, to tell us a briefing about this report. Thank you very much. Welcome to you all. I'm Mamdouh Akbir. I'm chief editor in BBC Arabic. I'm here on behalf of my colleagues, the number of distinguished teams who have worked on this report, but regretfully they couldn't be with us for security reasons. When we started this investigative report, we've learned about many issues that take place in Egypt, and actually some testimonies were really devastating. Many women are living now in these figures of, and for these medical mistakes. And so we, BBC Arabic, we decided to send undercover journalists to investigate in this case and to understand why is this happening. The team have taken trainings where those allege that they do cosmetic surgeries and that they've promoted themselves, that they have certificates, medical certificates. We talked with the victims and with their families to struggle for justice. This report, the work on this report was very complicated because of the complications and complexes in the Egyptian law, and we opted to show this film without mentioning the names of the investigators who worked on this report. Thank you, Mamdouh. Candidate number 6.
حوادث قطارات لا تتوقف في مصر. السكة الحديدية خارج القضبان خلال 20 عاماً. للصحفيتين ريم علام وحمدية السيد.
يثبت تحقيق ريم
Reem's investigation and her colleague Hamdia's factuous name proves that the railway authority's negligence in developing its system, despite a number of grants and loans that the authority had received for this goal. Reem Alam is with us here in this hall.
المرشح السابع.
Candidate number 7.
عيادات عشوائية وفقراء العراق يدفعون الثمن. للصحفي محمد السوداني.
وديناها مستشفى صراحة، سووا لها مسحة، المسحة طلعت نظيفة، بس حالتها زادت.
ماكو شغل ولاكو وظيفة، هذا العوق مرافقنا مع مدى الحياة.
I hope that Mohammed al-Sudani is here with us via Zoom to tell us in a minute about this investigation. Your investigation proves that there's a spread of random clinics in Iraq that are not subject to censorship. The floor is yours. Thank you, Ms. Rawan, and thanks to all the audience, and I'm very happy to be with you here. I will talk in brief about this investigation. This investigation documents clinics that spread randomly in Baghdad. Such clinics they are not under the censorship of the authorities, and their ownerships practice actions are beyond the law and instructions that are issued by the health authorities. This investigation was done on a number of clinic victims and those who got harmed by these harmful practices done by the owners of those clinics. I'm talking in brief about this investigation. It was done in 2 years, and there was a workshop for ARIJ, and I was one of the participants in this workshop. And during that time, Ms. Rawan joined us in that workshop, and I've presented this idea to her. She welcomed it from the very beginning about this idea and supported me and told me specifically that this is a great idea and you need to develop it further. And this is what I did, and I worked on it, and I was able to achieve it, although I'm away from ARIJ, but the whole idea was the whole idea and the whole benefits that I got from these workshops had helped me in conducting this investigation. Ms. Rawan, I thank you, and I'd like to thank Rawan specifically. It's because of you that I went further into this investigation. Thanks to ARIJ and thanks to all who are in aljazeera.net for all the efforts that they've and cooperation that they've showed me, especially Sohail Hamdi and my colleague Astil Sadia. Thank you very much. Thank you.
المرشح الثامن.
Eighth candidate.
لحوم مهرمنة يأكلها المصريون. للصحفي رمضان حسن.
We hope that Ramadan is with us on Zoom. Ramadan Hassan documented the injection of farm owners and breeders of calves with veterinary preparations that contain internationally banned substances in violation of standard specifications and ministerial decisions in this regard. Ramadan, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Rawan, and I thank all the participants, all the attendees. The investigation, at first we documented breeder owners and farmers, owners and breeders of calves in Egypt who has been bringing calves from the European countries. There's an information that in the first analysis, we did a digital copy, but then we were able to document everything about the injection. We've been able to document this by video. The investigation proved that the meat, that they use a lot of hormones. I'm sorry, the sound is not so clear. The investigation revealed that these hormones are infiltrated from abroad, some types of which are here in Egypt that are manufactured here in Egypt. I would like to thank ARIJ for their ongoing support through our investigation journey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ramadan. And we wish you a fast recovery that banned you from being here in face. The ninth candidate.
مبيدات ممنوعة على موائد اللبنانيين. للصحفية زينب محسن.
Zainab Mohsen revealed that the widespread use of agricultural pesticides which are banned from entering the Lebanese territory in the cultivation of vegetables, which threatens the health of the Lebanese. Zainab has not been able to be here with us, but she's via Zoom. Zainab, please. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. At first, I wished, of course, to be among you tonight, and thank you, Rawan. As you all know, due to the Lebanese passports crisis in Lebanon and the Lebanese state banning us from traveling, I have not been able to join you. The investigation that you saw a promo on about the pesticides is that they should be used for crops with studied and examined amounts. However, the investigation revealed that there is an excessive use of pesticides and that causes sensitivity, and there are are even banned types in Lebanon and other that constitute harm to the environment. This had to do directly with the food security and health of well-being of the Lebanese. I would like to say that despite the danger in this problem, the Lebanese authorities are still has not yet taken the necessary steps in observing this phenomenon. I have cut this short. My greetings to all of you and thanks to ARIJ. I wish I can meet you again next year. Maybe I have the opportunity to meet you, of course, if the Lebanese state allows us to. Yes, I hope that the passport crisis would be solved. This crisis that did not allow many journalists to be here in person. The 10th candidate.
مساعدات على الورق للصحفيين أصيل سارية وعيسى الراجحي.
كشف أصيل وعيسى.
Asil and Isa revealed several projects of international an organization in Yemen exceeded the permissible limit for operating expenses in their budget, which deprived those who deserve the aid. Greetings to Asil and Isa, who are here present, present here in the room. I'm very proud of the 10 investigations out of 130 investigations. 10 go to the final list. 6 Arijian reports and 4 are not Arijian. I'm very proud of each investigation, of all investigations with the well-known names and fake names. I thank the ARIJ jury this year that came time and effort and high professionalism. Dr. Abir Saadi from Egypt was not here with us because she had to travel. Ilyas Hallas from Algeria, Dr. Zahira Harb from Lebanon, Ahmad Musa from Palestine, and the committee or the jury headed by Mr. Asad Taha from Egypt. Special thanks to all of them. Mr. Asad Taha, who is the father of the narrative, he highly appreciates the female and male journalists who can only publish using fake names. I found recently that this is not new, this is not strange to him, because he knows the names Abu Muhammad and Abu Zinat, fictitious names of his father, Taha Harraz, one of the stature of satirical writing in the 20th century in Egypt. It runs in their genes in the family. As a writer, please.
In the name of God. Actually, it's very difficult to talk before all this audience and feel tensed in the wait for the awards, and the tension that's spreading here and prevailing here. But I'll try to be brief, and I promise that I will not take more than half an hour. At the beginning, I have a number of confessions. Actually, I've imagined that when I started to participate with the colleagues in the arbitrary committee that I will spend boring time in academic works, lengthy and boring ones. But the surprise was that in most of these works are vivid works that touch the lives of poor people, simple people. And the other surprise was that the number of projects submitted and that were competing with a very high standard. The surprise was that most of them were conducted in very risky and hazardous areas. Such surprises have made our mission difficult, and yet we were happy for this level of investigative journalists that we've seen. lengthy and extensive discussions that we've done, but to do the arbitration is very difficult, and for many reasons and for many factors. And the differences between the winning works and the non-winning works are very minimal, actually, and all should know. And the competitors should know in any competition that winning or unwinning is not related to the quality of work only. There are many other factors that have to do with this, the competence, the number of works, the level, and so on. So I will take the chance here to just give some recommendations to investigative journalists. Don't be very keen about the quality of information only, but be keen about the shape and the form that you'll present this work in. And in this regard, the technical work that you will present, the technical shape, so that it reaches out to the biggest number of people. And as we said in the first day, the tale, the narrative is, or the story is one of the quickest means to convey a message and an idea. People like to listen to stories, and they love to listen to them despite the differences in their cultures and the countries and the locations they come from. This is why narrating the investigative report in a story type means it's a quicker spread for it, because this is what all investigative journalists look for, to mainstream it. Say the truth while smiling. No, there's no use to be frowning. And here I would like to salute those who work under war conditions. Working in investigative journalism is very difficult, and those who work in it acknowledge its difficulty, especially in the Arab region, and it's even more and more dangerous in conflict zones. That's why let us salute especially the Yemeni young journalists who worked under the war circumstances, and those young journalists who work in Palestine. Special greeting to investigative female journalists who compete and struggle to pave their way among their male colleagues. I salute, of course, my colleagues in the arbitrary team, who, without really complimenting them, just I really benefited from the knowledge they have through our discussions. Marwan, you and your staff, you do marvelous work. And actually, it will not be appreciated until your hair turns white. This is when you see that all these journalists have grown, and now we have in the Arab world then a generation of investigative journalists, females and males, in the time of nonsense, who challenge the world through their work. Finally, and on the occasion, and even without an occasion, long live Palestine, free and independent. Thank you very much for the maker of tales and narratives, Mr. Asad Taha. Two quick announcements. In announcing the award of Universitat, the supervisor of this, Mr. Muhammad Haji Yassin from Khaduri University, and he's with us here, Khaduri Technical University. We also announce that after 15 years and from the outcomes of the 3 days of this forum, and because there's more than 100 institutions for independent media, whether publication or fact-checking institutions and supporting institutions, we have come up with an announcement from ARIJ for an independent Arab media. It's now posted on ARIJ's website. This announcement is for you. You can sign it. It's a petition under your individual name or the institution you work in. And from now on, this announcement will be your voice. And whatever we've talked about throughout these 3 days is to raise our voice in the Arab arena and international arena for independent journalism and independent media. It's there on ARIJ website and all social platforms. Who are the winners for the bronze, silver, and gold awards? This is the important question. But there's a surprise that the 3 winners will gain a surprise that wasn't there in any of the previous years, and this is on the anniversary of 15 years of ARIJ Forum. I call the anchor and reporter Fuad Yusufi from Sweden to present himself and to announce the surprise.
It is an honor to be here, to be invited by you, Rawan. Thank you so much. Something special is going to happen in September. I am from Sweden. I was born in Jazair, but I live in Sweden since I was 1 year old. And something special is going on in Sweden next year in September. We have the honor of hosting the Global Investigative Journalism Conference there in September. And I believe that the winners will be invited to attend this conference in Sweden next year, and we're really happy about that. It's going to be 4 days of amazing workshops for you who have been there. You know what it's all about. If you have not been there, please make plans to come to Sweden next year. I will be so happy to welcome you to the west of Sweden and the city of Göteborg. A warm welcome to you all.
الفائزون الثلاثة سيذهبون
Attend the international conference for investigative journalism in Sweden, and that was lastly conducted in 2019 in Hamburg. That was attended by 64 journalists, investigative journalists. I call now the Imad Musa to the podium to announce the first prize. Good evening. There's something more dangerous than being in a hall that has 500 journalists to delay the dinner that all are awaiting. But it's a small word before we announce the first prize and award. I would like to thank you all colleagues. You still believe that there is a chance to make a change in our communities, and this is a deep faith and deep conviction. And if you weren't thinking of it and believing in it, you wouldn't have done all this effort. And we read tens of your reports and work. And one of the topics that the committee had appreciated and given a special attention, because it digs in a social issue that needs to find a solution. So this year is for Ayat Khairiyah.
We invite Ayat Khairi to the podium, an investigation under the pretext of educational jurisdiction. I prepared for all the meetings that I could attend except this one. This one was really unexpected. I would like to thank ARIJ Network and to say that the gain or the benefit for the 10 winners or any investigative journalist looking for fact an award for all of us, for all those who are seeking the truth. I thank you all and thank my friends and colleagues. I feel their happiness. I thank also someone who is not present, but my husband. He helped me a lot. He supported me a lot. Thanks God. I invite Rasha Faiq to the podium. She's the investigations supervisor. Congratulations. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Actually, the award is for Ayat and me, not because I'm the supervisor, but because I always encourage the educational journalism. Let me congratulate ARIJ and Ayat. Ayat made a special effort in addressing this topic, which was addressed by the Egyptian press many times, but Ayat selected or chose a special angle regarding the negative impact on children and their missing of their right to education or access to education due to laws that are unfair to the mothers. Thank you again, ARIJ. Thank you, Ayat. I hope for this announcement or this for all the colleagues to look for assumptions. There is a lot to be written about, to be revealed in the field of education. Congratulations and thanks again. And let's announce the Bronze Award. I invite the jury member Elias Halas from Algeria to the podium. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Ms. Rawan. I would not take much of the time. I would announce, or the excitement or suspense, I announce the Bronze Award winner, Ms. Zainab Mohsen from Lebanon. She did an investigation on pesticides, banned pesticides, and because she was unable to be present, Firas Atawil will be getting the award on her behalf. I invite investigation supervisor Firas Atawil to the podium. Congratulations to Zainab Mohsen and her investigation. The Silver Award in ARIJ's 13th year, announced by the jury member Dr. Zahira Harb from Lebanon. We still have Zainab online. Uh, all special thanks to all those who contributed to helping us reach this stage. And through our work as journalists, we hope to be contributing to making a better future to all our Arab countries. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Zainab Mohsen. Good evening. And a topic that was in the headlines of the Arab and the senior media outlets, the winning investigative report enjoyed a special appreciation by the jury for being able to experience all the details of the human suffering of individuals and groups for weeks and months, with efforts and exceptional circumstances, and investigation, a humanitarian investigation with excellence. The Silver Award goes to Mahmoud Al-Subki. Congratulations, Mahmoud Al-Subki, for the Belarusian trap on Arab immigrants in the European area, the European game, actually. Good evening. I'm really pleased to be here with you. I dedicate this award to my father, to my late father. Second, I would like to thank ARIJ. It's also important to thank Edith from the Journalism Fund. Edith, is she here? Edith and the Journalism Fund. They supported me in 6 projects, including the investigative ones. They helped me achieve much of my work in the investigations. I thank my tutor, journalism art, Rudolf Ranks, who's Belgian. I thank you all. I'm really happy to be here with you. I'm happy. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. The Gold Award, the highest one for 2022 Arab investigative reports, announced by head of the jury, Mr. Asad Taha. Now, the award, the Golden Award. Or should you think that we have dinner first? Well, this award goes to a story, a suspense story that revealed whatever has been silenced. A story enjoying a smooth writing, a story that reflects long, strong work, as if it is providing a suspense, a film that provokes the human feelings, and it only proves the courage of a journalist in holding the people in power accountable. The Golden Award goes to Wajdi Salimi. Wajdi Salimi. Excellency, the German ambassador and the French ambassador in Jordan, please to the podium. Published in 3 languages, Arabic, Ukraine, and English, because it involves a Ukrainian story. In this room, there are those who contributed to the English and Ukraine language. I invite Oleg and Ms. Huda Othman to the podium. To thank a colleague who supervised the story, Mr. Muhammad Kumani, who has not been able to be here with us tonight. Muhammad Kumani from Yemen. Our colleague Wajdi Asalmi, the floor is yours. Good evening. Of course, the talk now at this very moment is very difficult. However, this very moment, I would not lie or to say if I'm not happy. I'm actually I'm the happiest to be at this position. I'm not merely happy, but the happiest with this honor that I'm getting before all this elite and group of investigative and fact-checkers, ambassadors, and experts. I thank you for this award. It's a quality addition value. It adds a lot of value to my professional path, and I would like to thank all those who supported me, mainly ARIJ network that gave me the opportunity. It was my first investigative report with ARIJ, and I received this award, and this is something really quality. I would like to thank the supervisor of this investigation, who has. I used to disappear for months and come back, and he used to. The investigation went on for 4 months, actually, but I always considered myself that I also went an MA degree after 2 years of investigative journalism and training in the field. Thank you, ARIJ. Thank you, all attendees. I don't have anything else to say. I'm very happy. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all the winners. We wish you a safe travel back home to your countries, by God willing. We'll meet in the 16th ARIJ conference from December 1 to 3, 2023. All the best and love. Thanks again, and may peace be upon you all. Thank you.